I'm going to show you some underrated Red Burgundy today. All right, welcome back to Drinking It In. I am your host, Chris Cassara. We are here to help you know more and drink better. And we're definitely going to do that today, right? We are drinking some Red Burgundy from, I would say, one of the more unheralded regions, communes, not communes, that's Barolo. Appellations in Burgundy. I don't know. I might reshoot this whole thing. No. We're going forward. So, Red Burgundy, really expensive. Pinot Noir wine from France. And if you know where to look, frankly, you can find some mind-blowing wines for prices that you can afford, right? And so I figured it would be good to pull this guy out of the wine locker and give it a taste, see whether whether this is one that you should be focusing on. So right now we are looking at a 2014 Vincent Girardin from this is his Terre d'Enfance from Santenay. So Santenay is a region in Burgundy that actually where they make red and white wine. It's right next door to like Chassagne-Montrachet and Pouligny-Montrachet, so like some really heavy hitting regions. But Santenay doesn't have that reputation, and I think what you find is that because of that, right? People don't recognize the name, the bottles will cost a little less, but the wines are still delightful. I had this one in a tasting a while back, and that's why this bottle made it into my cellar. But it's 2014 vintage, so I pulled it out. Let's see what it brings to the table. Now again, remember, Red Burgundy, it's 100% Pinot Noir from the Burgundy region of France. So light cherries, getting that cola note. We have so it almost smells like Twizzlers and red licorice more than anything else. It's nice. It smells tart. So it smells like tart red licorice with a little cola mixed in. The acid on this is phenomenal, right? So bright. It's weird, I'm almost getting a bit of a cocoa note in addition to those cherries. So it's almost like not quite chocolate covered cherries, but cherries maybe that are dusted in a little cocoa. This wine's a little bigger than I thought, given that it's got that high acid factor and it smelled, it smelled tart, right? I thought it would be pretty lean and focused, just sort of zap me. But this one's sticking with me. I'm still tasting it. It's a little bigger than I thought. This is really nice. And this is, this is what I expected, right? Because I had this a while ago, several years ago. I was happy to break it out again, but I think it's one of those other things to be on the lookout for when you're educating yourself in Red Burgundy. And I'm by no means a Red Burgundy expert, right? I know enough to be dangerous. But I also know that there are several areas that if you get educated on, you can find wines with those AOC, with the appellations labeled on there, and they tend to be really good values. The other thing too to think about is that when I say really good values for Red Burgundy, it is all relative. So this bottle will still probably cost you about $35 to $40, but if you're looking for a Red Burgundy, or if you're looking at a Red Burgundy from Givry Chambertin or Vos Romanée, I mean, you're in the hundreds of dollars. So it is all relative, and it's nice to be able to find bottles like this and still be able to drink Red Burgundy these days, because I'm not sure if 5 years from now we're gonna be so lucky. So get out there, do some research. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a list of my favorite under the radar Red Burgundy appellations in the show notes, and so you have a little. I'm gonna list them right here. That'll be better, and I'll put them in the show notes too. Because I know that there is one person out there who's reading the show notes. Thanks for joining. You know, hopefully you're liking these videos. Again, I'd love to hear in the comments of some videos that you think you'd like to see me do, some topics that I haven't covered yet, and you know, maybe just some other things you want me to make a fool out of myself. Happy to do it. Till next time, cheers.